Hey y'all, it's Sam Pam again. Today, I'm going to talk about the latest expansion for World of Warcraft. The demons return, and we get an influx of demon hunters in Legion. So, I haven't really done a review before, but I wanted to give it a shot here. I have really been enjoying the expansion, but of course, it is not perfect. However, I wouldn't expect it to be. I do think that Blizzard has done a little better than with some of the previous expansions. Without further ado, let's get to it. Since the first expansion, many players have thought that WoW was at the end of its days and perhaps even thought that we were due for a WoW 2. I know I've heard that a lot. This seemed all the more true with Warlords of Draenor. While there were a few good things about the last expansion, the bad and boring seemed to far outweigh it. Now, it seems, all of that is being made up for in Legion. The story behind the invasion of the Burning Legion has been far more engaging than the storyline in previous expansions. We even see, much to our sadness, a few well-known and well-loved characters killed. After all, what is conflict without a little death? Even if those deaths hit us right in the feels. The pre-expansion invasions were well done and great for leveling. There was a real feel to being ordered around and taunted thanks to the chat boxes that popped up for the NPCs. The demons also entered the areas in a much more realistic fashion, rather than just popping out of thin air into existence. We even got a little scenario that took us to the Broken Shore a bit earlier, and we had some things to do in Dalaran while it was hanging over Karazhan. So there were a lot of interesting things leading up to the expansion. Now, for both Horde and Alliance, the pre-expansion ended quite surprisingly. Such an interesting twist made our first introduction into the expansion itself feel a little lackluster. While it does not start with the same energy, the storyline itself is very engaging and offers a lot of immersion. The zones and characters are beautifully designed. And the storyline and quests are so well written that I hardly notice the transition between zones. Cutscenes also meld well with the writing rather than having a clunky feel. The voice acting is very well done, but of course with that, I wouldn't expect any less of Blizzard. Now, I'm not saying that we don't have the same type of quests that we've seen previously, but you will find that you don't even realize that you're doing a collection quest or killing X number of things. This is largely thanks to the way they were crafted. We've got quests and random objectives that very often take place in the same area and meld very well together. We also have very interesting NPCs that accompany us and aren't ridiculously slow. They have unique dialogue that's fun to hear. And of course, honestly, how could you not have fun when running around as Murky to help other tadpoles? That has to be one of my favorite quests so far. We also get to see world quests that offer a more interesting and diverse way of tackling daily quests, which were honestly a chore. This will help to keep things from becoming boring while we wait for the raid content to be released in earnest. Now, one thing that had previously disappeared from WoW and really bugged me, I didn't understand why they would have taken that out, but that was the class quests. It used to be required at certain levels to receive certain weapons, armors, or spells, or abilities, depending, that you do these class-specific quests. They help to define a class to give them their own identity. Now, thanks to both the Order Hall and artifacts, we get to see that again. With the artifacts, you end up having class-specific quests to try to upgrade it, or to even obtain it. The Order Halls are a lot like a light version of the garrisons that we had in Warlords of Draenor. I personally enjoyed the garrisons. I like some of the stuff that you can get from those quests. It's a lot of interesting items. However, it could be a little overwhelming with all of the followers that you had, and having to build different buildings and having the shipyard added on, and then having to upgrade those buildings and the shipyard and build ships. It could get a little overwhelming, and could also keep you from enjoying some other parts of the game as a result. Now, with the Order Hall, you still have followers and you still send them out on quests, but you only have a handful of followers. And you also can get some recruits, but they'll die on missions and you have to replace those periodically. Now, also, instead of having to choose and upgrade buildings, as I said with the garrison, you just go through overall upgrades for the garrisons that you choose to gain bonuses that you want. It's also nice not to be alone in there. That was one thing about the garrisons. You were alone. It kind of made things seem empty. I mean, I know there were a lot of NPCs and stuff, but it still kind of felt empty because of it being phased. But with the Order Halls, you don't have that. You'll see other priests running around. So that's nice. Priests or warriors or druids. I said priests because that's my main character. That's who has an Order Hall right now. My other level 100s have to wait. Now, the artifact weapons have to be upgraded as you level. And you can earn customization items for the appearance option, for the appearance itself. Like you can make it purple or white or blue or get different levels of the appearance. It's really nice. I like that option. As you upgrade the weapon, you also have options to choose what abilities you might want augmented. However, at the same time, it's kind of strange because overall the weapon is the same thing that everyone of your class gets of that spec. And even more so, you can actually get the weapons for all of the specs. I have all three priest weapons just because I wanted to. You can do that. Now, of course, I have the shadow one because I level as shadow, but then I heal as holy. But when you have all these options, you really only want to concentrate on upgrading one of them. I'm split though because since I do all of my solo stuff as shadow, that means that I have to at least upgrade that artifact, the shadow artifact dagger, a little bit. But it doesn't get the same level of detail or attention that my staff gets for holy. Still, if you aren't splitting between specs like that, if you don't solo as one and do dungeons as another, then really you need to just concentrate on leveling one weapon. You can have all three of them if you want, but you really just need to focus on leveling one. So that's pretty much my review. That's all of the things that you'll see. We get the demon hunters, but I talked about those in a previous video, so I really didn't want to cover those here. Not again anyways, but the demon hunters are a lot of fun. There's been a lot of changes to the classes as well, which means that you kind of have to relearn how to play them. That's a bit frustrating. but it's still a lot of fun. And yeah, I personally am far more excited about this expansion than I had been when I originally heard about it. Now, of course, I love the demon hunters. That's really what drew me to it, was to be able to make a demon hunter. But about the expansion itself, I wasn't that excited. Mostly thanks to warlords. I mean, I couldn't even make myself do anything. I usually raid and stuff. I didn't do that at all in Warlords. I could not make myself do anything other than mess around in my garrison. It wasn't enticing and immersive enough for me. I'm not having that problem with Legion. I don't know what it's going to hold. I don't know how it's going to end, but I'm glad to see such a good start. And I hope that Blizzard keeps this up with future content. Anyway, I would love to hear your opinions about Legion in the comments. Also, if you have any suggestions for reviews, I don't know if that was okay or not. I think it was pretty good, but I'm biased. Anyway, thank you all for listening. You can like or subscribe. I would appreciate it if you enjoyed this. You can also follow me on Twitter or Facebook. Those links are all on my page. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you all for listening, and y'all have a great night.